So welcome back to my channel and another painting update. Some of the projects I've been working on, well actually this is for several days, even a few weeks, because I obviously did that Neapolitan brigade in between. So these are other projects that I was working on, so not how I would normally do it each week. Anyway, it's all detail, doesn't matter. So I've been busy as ever, working through the stash. This particular group is a group of 12 Russian Cossacks. They're all peri-metals. Once again, a little bit shinier than I would like, but they're going to join my Muskets and Tomahawks Russian Winter Army that I showed off a little while ago, hence why I put them on the snow bases. They were fun to do. I mean, really simple, largely done with contrast paints and washes. And that's becoming my fast favourite way of painting figures. Just different types of washes and different types of contrast paints just makes it so easy. Really pleased how these come out. They're nice models. Got a standard from GMB. This is I think it's Bug Cossack standard. Some of these are Bug, some of these are Don. I'm going to mix them just because I want to. Really not sure whether I haven't got the Muskets and Tomahawks rulebook when I painted these, so I don't know quite how effective these are going to be, but they'll also be useful for my black powder army when I build that out as well. So although again I don't think Cossacks are necessarily very good in that either, but you know, they're Cossacks and they're cool, right? So I looked up books. They seem to have a lot of sort of fairly bright colours. Most of their I wouldn't call them uniforms, what they wear, lots of reds, so that's why I put predominantly reds, although they're different shades of reds. They don't quite show up in these light, but there are different shades of reds between these, some blues and a couple of greys and what have you. So yeah, really pleased. Love this guy here, firing pistol back over his horse's rear. Say peri-metals, very nice indeed. So next up, this is a front rank metal figure. This is Platov, who was basically the commander of the Cossacks in the Russian army for long periods actually, but predominantly through the 1812 campaign. It's a nice model. He's got the mace, which was the symbol authority of the leader of the Cossacks. I was checking out Napoleonic Wargamers channel. Did a really good feature about this guy and talked about his history, and certainly recommend you follow that if you haven't already done so. Really talks about how his amazing background of him. His father was just a farmer, and he rose to be one of the most powerful men in Tsarist Russia of the time. Amazing character. Anyway, I did toy whether I should put him on the snow base like I have with the other Cossacks. In the end, I think I won't really need him as a big man general in Muskets and Tomahawks, but I will need him for black powder. So that's why I've done it that way. So nice model, pleased to get it done. So next up, this is another hovel building, resin cast 25 mils. It's a smidge small, but not so much you notice if you see that. There you go. That's not out of scale. This is, as I say, from Hovels. Talked about them repeatedly on this channel because I've really rediscovered them and really like them. They are so cool. This is La Belle Alliance from Waterloo. It's basically the inn outside of, basically outside of which Napoleon spent most of the Battle of Waterloo. And although it's obviously a very much a set for that battlefield, this building I think I could use in pretty much any Western theatre game through multiples of years, because it just has that sort of nondescript European style. Could even be a British one, I guess, as well, for any English, even I don't know about English Civil War, possibly English Civil War. Anyway, whatever. It's solid resin. You can see here, all cast in one piece. It's really nicely done. You can see where they've got the brickwork poking through, the tiles on the top. You've got obviously the window frames. Now it's not perfect. There's a few bubbles here and there if you look really carefully, and slight miscasts because these cast molds are pretty old, I think. But I think actually, in some ways, that adds to the character of this building. And it was great fun to paint it up. Didn't take long. I think I used an off-white sort of heavy brush over a grey base. And then the frames were using Golem stone, which is one of my favourite sort of stone colours. I think, if I remember right, the tiles were actually, I think the tiles were actually Gore-Grunter fur. And it's all been heavily washed, so mixture of wash. You can see a little bit of greens in there, which was this Belle green wash. I used a sepia wash as well, and Agrax Earthshade as well, and just use multiple of those, bit of a dry brush over it, and I think it just gives that weathered and worn look, which I really was looking for. I'm really pleased with the output. So that's that one done. So next up, just a quick look at a couple of spare gunners that I've painted up. I mentioned before I have painted up all these gun crews, and they tend, for most of the manufacturers, send them as packs of 4. But when you play sharp practice, you need 5 crew. So this is Dutch-Belgian gunner. We'll go with the Dutch-Belgian gun I showed you a little while ago, which is part of my Nassau sharp practice unit, and this is a Russian gunner who will go with the muskets and tomahawks on sharp practice winter Russian army that I showed you. Both of them are front rank figures. Beauty of front rank is not only they're good, lovely figures, but you can also buy individuals. So when I was buying some figures from them recently, I just put in an order for these extra gun crew, and they are now ready to go into the box with those figures. And when I play sharp practice, I think also muskets and tomahawks have 5 crew. Anyway, whatever, they'll be ready for when I do. So next up, this is a unit of, well, it's obviously a box of Prussian landwehr from Warlords Games, but actually I'm using them as Opolcheny from my Russian muskets and tomahawks, shakos and bayonets army. I showed the battalion I'd already done of regular regular line troops, using the snowy look for the retreat from Moscow, which is what I've set them as. And apparently, so I've heard, the Prussian landwehr uniform was copied from the Opolcheny uniform, because Europe was so enamoured with how well the Russians had done in defeating Napoleon in 1812 that there was sort of a rush to copy the Russians, the successful things, and one of, let's say, the landwehr copied the Opolcheny uniform, and I think it's a damn good story, and it means that I can take a box of Prussian landwehr and turn them into Opolcheny. I've got about 3 boxes of them, so this is the first one. A couple of extra figures which I'll start adding to this battalion. Done these on single bases, the rest I'll do on multi-bases for black powder, and I've got a couple of standards that I bought that I'll have to adapt one of these figures because they don't come with a command. Well, they come with an officer and a drummer who are metal. The rest of the figures are pretty much all the same, all with this sort of very disinterested standing position that they've got. I've sort of tried to vary the coat colours, different shades of grey, etc. Changed slightly head positions. Some of them got beards, some of them don't. Some of them actually, you can't tell it, they got quite ragged clothes on. So there's a bit of variety actually in there, but at the end of the day, they're just militia, right? So these will join my 1812 bayonets and shakos force, and then double up for black powder at a later date, because on these movement trays I can do that. So that's another 24 plus 2, 26 figures done. So next up, a unit of 6 skirmishing Nassau volunteer riflemen. I had these for a little while, they've been in the stash, and Actually, funny enough, I got them out by accident and started painting them up in a blue uniform, and then I realised my mistake, so I've had to spray them over with grey and then restart them in the correct green Nassau uniform. Mentioned some time ago, I have now built a force for sharp practice for the Nassaus. And this was always intended to be the final light infantry unit or skirmish unit to go with that force. They're Perry miniatures, Perry metals, and they're really nice. Just got them on a War Bases base, which I'll probably have to put a few tufts on or something just to break up the sparseness. But yeah, really pleased with how these came out. Nice colour, nice figures. So my other side project, which kind of got out of control and continues to get out of control, was my Naples brigade that I built, both for sharp practice and potentially shakos and bayonets, and also for black powder. I've shown the brigade that I've built, and I've got some more figures now to expand that brigade. Well, when I was doing all the research into it, obviously I found out about Murat, who was, as you know, anybody who follows the Napoleonic period or looks into it, Murat was one of Napoleon's greatest flamboyant cavalry commanders, shall we say. And he became king of Naples when Napoleon's brother was given the kingdom of Spain instead. And Murat was, as I say, a very flamboyant character, to the point where he was responsible for the bright colours that the Neapolitan troops had, the chocolate box uniforms that I've talked about before. He designed his own dress uniform, and this is it. It comes from a painting that you can see of Murat wearing exactly this, with a tiger's skin on the back of his horse and this very flamboyant feathery headdress. So this figure, or in fact all three of these figures, came from Gringo 40, who are a manufacturer I don't know much about, but I've seen them around for a long time, and I just thought I've just got to have this to upgrade. So the theory is, because I've got that lovely avampost general for the Neapolitans, which I'll still use, but I'll probably use that more for sharp practice and shakos and bayonets, and I'll keep Murat to command the brigade if it sees action in black powder. I think that's the way I'll do it. Put him with this grizzled veteran here. Unfortunately, his bayonet's broken off, and bayonets never stick back on, do they? So that's really annoying. This is a staff officer, which I also put on. So I wanted a little sort of mini diorama. It's not really a diorama because it's just three figures plonked on a base, but it kind of looks good, and I'm quite pleased with how it's come out. So there is Murat, ready to command the glorious Neapolitan army. Well, glorious-ish. So while I was on the Gringo 40 website, I saw they had a few Neapolitan infantry. Not many, but I thought, well, I could always do another squad of light infantry skirmishers. So that's what I've done here. Bought just 6 of them, and I've painted them up with a wonderful bright pink uniform that the 8th had. I just thought they can be the skirmishing company from that battalion, and an officer behind. I'm not convinced that this officer's the right one. His pistol looks more like a revolver than it does a napoleonic flintlock type pistol. Anyway, whatever, it's nice and it'll sit there. So he'll be, one of the big men that I'll need if I'm playing this with sharp practice or shakos and bayonets. And this will be another squad of 6 skirmishers to join the fold, to join the Neapolitan bright troops. So finally, this funny story, talked about it on the Plastic Crack podcast the other night. This is another Gringo 40 miniature from their Western range. And when I was buying all this other stuff, it was quite late at night, and I saw that they did a Western range, and I saw they had a Rooster Coburn figure, and I thought I really wanted that figure. It looked really cool. and so I bought it. But when it arrived, I thought, blimey, talk about figure scale creep. That's a big old figure, and he is a big old figure. And I thought, I was talking to, in fact, let me put him with this figure. There you go. You can see the difference in the size. And I was talking to Steve from On Point HQ and Plastic Crack over Facebook Messenger, and I showed him this, and I said, "Crikey, it's a big figure." And he said, "Are you sure it's 28mm?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm sure it's 28mm. I'm sure that's what it said." And then I went back and had a look at the Gringo site, and actually no, it's a 40mm figure. That explains the difference. Yeah, so it's a 40mm figure. But I thought, sod it, I'm going to paint him up anyway. I really liked it. It looks a bit shiny under this light. He's not as shiny in real life, but I really like the figure, and I just thought, sod it, I'm going to do him. I initially thought I'll just keep him as a little ornament, and then I thought, sod it, I'm going to... There's a lot of soddits going on, by the way. I thought, sod it, I'll keep him as a sort of, a giant in one of the games. So he's going to be, I guess he'll have to be a lawman of some sort, and we'll just keep him as a sort of celebrity, a giant amongst men, because it's just such a fun figure. So yeah, so that's Rooster done, ready to join the Dead Man's Hand forces that I'm slowly building up, now that hopefully I can actually have a game of it. So there you go, that's what I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. Had a holiday in between, did those Neapolitan troops, or the other Neapolitan troops, so this isn't sort of a week load of painting, this is several weeks, sort of bits and bobs that I've done. But I thought you'd appreciate seeing them. I know people seem to like seeing what's on the table, so that's what I've been working on. Anyway, stay safe, stay well, I hope you're all well, and I'll see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.
So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, and even if you didn't, hit the dislike, but please just explain why. It's really difficult to know when you get a dislike what the reason is. Maybe they just hate me, but maybe it's because you didn't like the subject, but it'd just be helpful to know. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button so you see when I put stuff up. And if you're feeling particularly generous, there's a Patreon page linked to the channel, which helps me out when I'm trying to do stuff for the future, and also a link to some merchandise like t-shirts and so forth that you might be interested in. So thanks for watching once again. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.